Dear viewers and listeners of Khabarhub and Radio Candid, Namaste and good afternoon. Welcome to a very special interview with His Excellency Mr. Salahuddin Noman Chowdhury, Ambassador of the People's Republic of Bangladesh to Nepal on Nepal-Bangladesh relations. His Excellency Salahuddin Noman Chowdhury is the Ambassador of the People's Republic of Bangladesh to Nepal. Before taking up this assignment, he held the position of Director General, Administration at Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Dhaka. In his diplomatic career of 23 years, he worked in various capacities at Bangladesh Mission in New Delhi, Islamabad, New York Consulate, and New York Permanent Mission. In the headquarters, he held positions like Director General, External Affairs, Director Economic Affairs, Director, Southeast Asia, and Deputy Chief of Protocol Visit. Excellency, welcome to Khabarhub, and thank you very much for your time. Excellency, the first question for today is, how would you define Bangladesh foreign policy towards Nepal? Where does Nepal stand in Bangladesh foreign policy?
Thank you, Pramod. Thank you for inviting me to this interview. It's a great pleasure to be with you. Answering your question, I should say that Nepal is one of the most dependable friends of Bangladesh. We have this root in our civilizational linkages. We share the same values, traditions, and we share the same ecology environment, as you know. And we have this historical linkage of our relationship. You know that Nepal had provided us with support during the War of Liberation in 1971. And that was very crucial time in our national life. And after the war, Nepal was one of the first countries to recognize Bangladesh. So we always recall that contribution of Nepalese people and the government with deep gratitude. And we consider Nepal to be one of our best friends. And for that reason, we always want to build a greater partnership with Nepal in areas of, in many areas, in areas of trade, tourism, education, energy cooperation, and so on. And that will continue to increase in the days ahead.
Excellency, since Nepal and Bangladesh will soon be graduating from the LDC, least developed countries status, and it is all set to be the next Asian tiger, what are the prospects of collaboration between Nepal and Bangladesh? How can Nepal benefit out of it?
Pramod, this is one of the areas of our closeness. We are both countries with similar socio and economic indicators. Both are vulnerable to climate change, and we face the same developmental challenges. And our economies are also dependent on the West for foreign employment or for market access of our products, technology, finance, and we are also dependent on the foreign countries for education and training also. So now that we will be graduating from the LDC group in the next few years' time, I mean in 2026 December we will be graduating. So we will be in the same boat again with Nepal. But this time, I think our journey will not be that smooth because the international support measures that we have been receiving over the years since our inclusion in 1975 as LDCs, like market access of our products to European and other developed nations, and also receiving concessional loans for our development projects, and also receiving technological support, etc., will not be there anymore. We will not also receive the facilities that we have under the rules of origin under WTO. So that will be quite challenging for both Bangladesh and Nepal in the post-graduation period. So to face the challenge, I think we will have to take a very well-coordinated approach, and we have to speak in the same voice in the international platforms as we have done already during our LDC time. And in the meantime, between our economies, we have to create complementaries and interdependences so that we can face those shocks much easier than we are facing. And also, what we are trying to do is we are trying to increase our regional trade in the region under SAARC and BIMSTEC. And as a matter of fact, we are negotiating a preferential trade agreement with Nepal currently, which we will be signing very soon. It is expected to be signed very soon. And apart from that, as a national strategy, Bangladesh is trying to diversify its product base, export market product base, as well as we are also trying to diversify our destinations in different parts of the world. As of now, mostly we are exporting to countries in Europe and America, and we are trying to find new markets in Latin America, Middle East, Southeast Asia for diversifying these export destinations. So these are the strategies that we have taken. I believe Nepal is also taking the same strategies, since we are at the same journey in the same boat.
Excellency, Bangladesh celebrates 50 years of independence this year. How has Bangladesh evolved in the last 50 years?
Pramod, yes, this is one area of our pride. Bangladesh has really made tremendous developments in the last 50 years. Our GDP is now very high compared to what was in the past. We have achieved spectacular social and economic development. Now we are also referred as one of the outstanding examples of growth and development in the international platforms. When we were born in 1971, we were regarded as a economic basket case, as you know, but things have changed. At that time, we had poverty and hunger, and we sort of had political instability for quite some years thereafter. And the situation was very hopeless at that time. And as late as 1990s, our poverty was about 50% plus. So it has reduced to below 20% in the last 30 years. Now our population growth is well below 1.5%. And we are now the second biggest economy in South Asia after India. And it is predicted, a very recent publication by an international organization says that Bangladesh may become the 24th economy of the world by 2036, if everything goes as it is going right now. If you ask me what actually was behind this, I would say that the political leadership, which has ensured the stability of the country for the past 12, 13 years, that was crucial for our development. And also the government had tremendous emphasis on the small and medium enterprises, which has contributed to this development. And above all, our emphasis on women empowerment was very crucial. And we have made significant progress in terms of our primary enrollment, girls' education, child mortality, maternal mortality, primary health care, etc. And our present life expectancy is about 72 years, which was 56 years in 1971, if I recall correctly. You know that in implementing the MDGs, Bangladesh was very successful. Most of the MDGs were attained by Bangladesh well before the target year of 2015. And Bangladesh is now well on track to achieve the SDGs as well by 2030. So when such social developments were taking place, we had this garments industry which flourished in Bangladesh, and in 20, 30 years time, we have become the leading tailor house of the world. We had some compliance issues in the meantime. We had some hiccups, as you know, that there were some accidents, but we address those issues with very right perspectives. Now you'll be happy to know that the many Bangladeshi factories have become compliant, and as per the list of the ISO certified companies, you will see that of the 10 most compliant factories in the world, Bangladesh has 7. So that is quite remarkable for us, which we have achieved in the last 10, 15 years. And now, with all this, Bangladesh has become one of the most favorable destinations for manufacturing firms. We now have a very large pool of skilled workers, and we are graduating to second generation industrialization, we are building pharmaceutical factories. We have already entered into the world electronics market, leather products market, as well as the IT market. We are exporting our IT and IT oriented services to the world. And we have also entered into the area of furniture making. So these are the new industries which are coming up in the country because of the skilled labor base that has been created over the last 3 decades. And while this development was taking place in the industrial sector, there has been a tremendous development in the agricultural sector also. In 1971, we were not self-reliant. I mean, we were dependent on importing foods from other countries. But now, after 50 years, when our population has more than doubled, we have achieved self-reliance in food. And as a matter of fact, we are exporting some food grains to other countries as well. So this is the story of our development in the last 5 decades, for which we feel very proud.
Excellency, despite being neighboring countries and sharing almost 50 years of relations, why hasn't Nepal and Bangladesh been able to expand their bilateral trade?
Oh, this is one area which is very embarrassing for me as well as the Nepalese ambassador in Dhaka. When we share this with each other, when we share our notes, we feel very embarrassed to face this question. But this is the reality, that despite being very close countries, despite having so much of comfort in our relations, we have not been able to exploit the opportunity of our good relations into expanding our trade. So there may be some reasons. I think as developing economies, we both have focused in our initial years on the areas of garments, food processing, or agricultural products, initial in the last 3-4 decades. And these are the products which are low value but heavyweight products, and we were competing with each other for market in the other countries, I mean Western countries. So it was not viable to trade between our two countries. And again, our focus was mostly on expanding the market in the Western countries, where we could export our export products which required labor-intensive production. So that is why we did not focus on the region. Now, in the changed context, when our export market in the Western countries is shrinking, And at the same time, when we have already attained our capacity and we have qualitative improvement in our products, I think this is the time for us to expand regional trade. And you will be happy to know that regional trade is also increasing. Our export to all the regional countries have increased in the last few years. Same has been the case of other regional countries. The regional trade is increasing, although not a very satisfactory level, but it is increasing.
Excellency, you just mentioned about regional trade. So, since both Nepal and Bangladesh are the member of World Trade Organizations, BIMSTEC, and SAARC, how can the countries use such international and regional forums to enhance regional and bilateral trade for creating the investment opportunities for Nepal?
You know that in WTO, we work with Nepal very closely, and we worked unitedly for the continuation of the international support measures that we have been receiving under WTO for our access to the other countries, developing countries, developed countries, for our pharmaceutical products, and we have been successful in extending the deadlines. Similarly, we have to work together in extending all the deadlines, all the support measures, continuation of all the support measures. So we have to work very closely with each other. And BIMSTEC and SAARC are the two platforms where we can work together to increase the regional trade and take it to a higher level. And we can work in areas of investment, tourism, energy cooperation, agricultural cooperation, and so on.
Excellency, let it focus more on economic aspects, as this is one area where both the countries can work together and benefit. So let me ask one more deep question, like how can Bangladesh support and co-work with Nepal in the sector of commerce, energy, and tourism? How do you see the prospect of future cooperation between the two countries in these sectors?
Bangladesh is very eager to enhance the present volume of trade with Nepal. As you know, that we are trying to negotiate a deal on preferential access of our products to Nepal and Nepalese products to Bangladesh. I think that if that is signed, our volume of trade will enhance greatly. You know that currently we are buying products from far away countries at a very high cost. So if we have more trade, we will actually benefit. That would be our mutual benefit. We will get products at a cheaper price. On the issue of energy, as you have said, we are very eager. I think there are a couple of reasons. One is that Bangladesh is a energy hungry country, and as our development takes place, we will need more energy, but we don't have this capacity to produce energy from our own because we don't have those resources, the natural resources to produce energy. So we are an energy hungry country, and our energy consumption will increase substantially in next 5-10 years time. So energy can be produced in Nepal. Nepal has huge potentials for electricity. Then we can import those through the Indian grid or as dedicated grid from Nepal to Bangladesh. And that is one thing. Secondly, it also helps us to fulfill our commitment for clean development. In the Glasgow COP also, we have committed that we will go for clean development, so as many other countries. So that is if we can import energy from Nepal, that helps us to fulfill our commitment for low carbon development. And thirdly, it is a very win-win proposition for both Bangladesh and Nepal, because we will get the Nepalese electricity at a much cheaper price. So we are very interested to get the energy cooperation to get electricity from Nepal. On areas of tourism, I think we are working on two issues. We are trying to attract more tourists to Cox's Bazar, Sylhet, and Sundarbans. As you know, that Nepal is one of the most favorite destination of Bangladeshi tourists, but not many Nepalese tourists go to Bangladesh because of our capacity constraint. Now that our capacity is increasing in those areas, we are trying to attract more tourists to Bangladesh. And to facilitate them, I think we are trying to connect more cities through air. We are working on connecting Soyodpur, Biratnagar airports. So, and also the Sylhet airport and Cox's Bazar airport with the Nepalese airports. So if that materializes in the next few years, I think the tourism between both the countries will increase substantially. It is already good, but it will increase.
Extensive, before we wrap up, what are your impressions of Nepal and Kathmandu in particular? How has your stay been so far?
That's a very interesting question. Nepal is a great country. It has rich values, traditions. It has a rich culture, and most importantly, it has a glorious history. Nepal is a vibrant democracy, and apart from the rich cultural heritage, Nepal is a country which has multiple languages. So it manages all the languages very well. It has proved that diversity is its strength, and different communities live in peace in Nepal. So this is exemplary for the world. So I feel very happy to live in such a country where we have a very enlightened and educated civil society who have a deep appreciation for art, culture, literature, prose, poetry, and interacting with them every day is a great experience. And I think that by living in Nepal, I actually improve myself with all the exposure that I receive daily in my interaction with the civil society or the people of Nepal. But most importantly, what is most attractive for me is that the people of Nepal are very cordial, friendly, and hospitable. So for any foreigner, not only me, Nepal is one of the most comfortable countries to live, and to live here in a 24 hours air conditioning free of cost is another opportunity. So this is one of the best countries for any diplomat to be posted in a very beautiful country. Nepal is definitely one of the most beautiful countries with so much of enlightened and warm people around. You feel very comfortable and happy.
Excellency, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Pramod. It was a great pleasure for me. And I hope that our relationship will continue to develop in the days ahead, and both of our countries will prosper. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.